some of you guys were concerned when I posted a Christmas video before Thanksgiving.
Oh, the horror.
How could you?
My apologies.
Sometimes Thanksgiving just slips my mind. I really hope last week's video made up for that whole mix-up. Anyways, now that Thanksgiving is officially out of the way,
We can all move on.
I took a trip to the dollar store. At first, it was hard coming up with what to do, as it usually is. I wanted to make some Christmas DIYs, but nothing was really sparkling inspiration. After like an hour of pacing back and forth, the ideas just started rushing in all of a sudden.
Ooh, let me get that. Let me get that. Oh, let me get this. This too.
I ended up leaving the dollar store with a bunch of cool stuff that I plan on making
Evil.
Christmas DIYs with.
Like this toilet plunger. I didn't even know Dollar Tree was carrying toilet plungers. I don't know how capable it is at plunging a toilet. I would use at your own risk. But that's fine. I don't plan on plunging any toilets with this. I've got a heavy-duty plunger for that. That's not poop, by the way. I'm putting away the toilet plunger for now, but I'll be bringing him back. He's the star of this piece. He holds everything together. I picked up some arrow signs.
This way to the toilet.
One arrow wouldn't be enough. We needed 3. Make sure everyone gets there in time. I removed the stickers. They came off pretty easily, and then pulled off the ropes. This part took a bit more muscle. I wanted rectangle signs, but I couldn't find any in the size I wanted. So instead I just got these arrows, and I'm chopping off the triangle tops on them. They ended up being a bit rough where I chopped them off, so I gave them a quick sanding. Beautiful. Wow. Time to pull out the gesso. A nice, smooth layer of gesso for each of you. Oops, that's not smooth. Get out of here. I have this gorgeous pine tree color that I'm using for the signs. I wanted them to just be simple and green to contrast with the toilet plunger part that I'll be adding. Sweet, but twisted. I feel like that's my vibe. Very simple white letters for this one. I wanted them to pop against the green background. I tried to make the lettering look a little fancy with some lines here and there.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Don't know if it worked, but the attempt was made. I topped them off with some Mod Podge. Alright, back to the star of the show, the toilet plunger. This sticker was not easy to remove. I got there eventually. I decided to paint the toilet plunger. As nice as the wood color looked, it's too Home Depot looking for the holidays. I'm just trying to spruce it up a bit. Already a huge improvement. I screwed it back on there, as tight as I can. Today's all about candy canes. That's kind of the underlying theme of this video. I would paint red swirls on the toilet plunger handle, but that would take a really long time, and it wouldn't look as neat as I want. So instead I'm going to be going around with some red glittery ribbon. It took like not even a minute to wrap it around there. Definitely a good call. I don't have many good calls, but this was one of them. I have an extra ornament for my spooky tree, so I'm just gonna snip off the nub at the top and stick that on top to make the pole look a little more finished. It's supposed to be one of those North Pole signs. That's what I'm going for. Here it is so far. Looks pretty cool as is. Maybe has a slight leaning tendency. That's okay. I could live with that.
It's fine, it's fine.
I'm gluing on the signs I made. Whoops. I'll just glue that back on. I love this little decor sign. It's funny and Christmassy. I think I'm gonna plop it down right here. I actually picked up a 4th arrow sign, same as the ones I just used in the whole toilet plunger fiasco.
This way to the toilet.
I started off by gessoing it to prime the wood. I want this to last for years to come, well into other holidays, like Easter and Earth Day. I'm painting it black. Not a very Christmassy color, but it fits the vibe I'm going for. This is meant to be a little directional sign, showing Santa where the Christmas tree is, and where he's supposed to leave my presents this year. I haven't been getting any from him lately, ever since I moved out of my parents' house. It's the weirdest thing. The Christmas tree's right here, buddy. Jingle Butt is just a little pet name I have for Santa. It's kinda like Sparkle Butt, except Santa doesn't sparkle.
No.
Instead, he jingles when he farts. Hence the name Jingle Butt. Fitting. I'm using pink instead of red. Again, I know it's a questionable color palette for Christmas, but it goes with the additions that I'm going to add to this sign. The pink Posco wasn't popping enough, so I outlined it all in white. Some of the letters got a little messed up during my artistic process. I don't have the best handwriting, but I'll touch those up. I want it to be as neat as possible. In fact, I want it to look like it's not my handwriting at all. I thought it would be a nice touch if the letters looked kinda like a candy cane. They're not red, so not exactly pulling off the look, but close enough. It's like a neon version of a candy cane.
This way, Jinglebutt.
If Santa can't find the tree this year, I'm gonna be a little suspicious. But, you know, I don't want to take any chances, so I went around the sign with my pink Posca, just to add a little extra pop of pink. More of that candy cane design to go around. And just in case the arrow isn't enough, I decided to add Trevor into the mix. For whatever reason, people really seem to listen to Trevor. He's very charismatic, got a certain charm about him. So he's just gonna help point out the tree as well, not leaving much room for error here. You really can't mess this one up. There's a candy cane moment happening, and Trevor's wearing a little Santa hat. But does this scream Christmas to you? I thought it needed something more festive. A dash of snow, perhaps. I understand that not everyone gets to experience the joy of snow on Christmas. Sorry, Australia. Can't relate. I wanted this to look a bit more 3D, so I added a bit of shadows and whatnot. Anything to get this guy to notice my tree. I cleaned up the edges. Things got a bit blurry since my camera just wants to focus on my hand. I'm just painting the edges white. Not too much to see there anyway. I added some Mod Podge. Like I said, I want this to last, so I just slathered on a couple layers of that. And now, time for the centerpiece. Socks.
If you're new here and you've ever worn socks before, you should consider selling your soul to me by subscribing to my channel and ringing that bell thing so you don't lose me on the internet. I post new videos
Every Friday.
This was the best pack I could find at the dollar store. The closest fit for my personality. I thought it would be kind of funny to hang up socks instead of stockings. I don't have a fireplace in my apartment. I don't think most apartments have fireplaces, probably for good reason. So there's not really a mantle to stick any stockings on. But that's not gonna stop me from getting my loot. The black and white one is for Sniffledorf since it looks just like him. The unicorn one is the one I really wanted. Turns out my fiance wanted it too. We had a little bit of a tussle over it and she won. So I'm stuck with the striped one that no one wanted. But whatever. As long as Santa delivers the goods, I'll be happy. One of the socks is a little damaged. That's alright though. I only need one of each anyway. I just kinda checked to make sure I was keeping the best ones. I tried figuring out how I wanted to space them. Took a little bit of planning. To help stick these stockings up, I got these teeny tiny clothespins that I hot glued onto the sign. The hot glue isn't really the stickiest of glues, so one of the clothespins snapped off. But I added more hot glue and got it to cooperate.
Just be very gentle.
And voila, an impossible to miss sign for Santa, adorned with miniature stockings. How cute. For my next dollar store makeover, I picked up this lovely glass jar.
Ooh. Ah.
There's nothing particularly special about it. Yet. And I also picked up some candles. There were a ton of color options, but I went with a simple white candle. I'm trying to go for a high-end look for this one. Kinda. High-end is subjective. You guys might remember I made some little tea light candles out of these for Halloween. Today I'm making another candle. This one's just going to be a bit fancier. So first things first, I filled up my cauldron with the help of Sniffledorf, the water connoisseur. I'm just boiling some water to make the candles. Pretty straightforward stuff. Just taking a candle and transferring it from one candle jar into another candle jar. I didn't bother to take the sticker off the candle, so it's just floating in there. A little relaxing spa time. Once they're all boiled down, I fished out the wicks and set them aside. I'm saving those. Brought my glass jar back, threw in a little melted wax, and stuck one of the wicks in. Well, I tried to, but it just wanted to float away. Can't have that, so I ended up taping it down. And yeah, I just stuck the rest of the wax in. The wick was being a bit stubborn.
Just sit still. Stay.
I tried being as neat as possible, but I still got some wax on the sides. I'm just rubbing that off. Now here's where things went downhill. I broke out these rub-on transfers, some very expressive pineapples, and some fancy reflective lettering.
Hey everybody.
I'm not particularly fond of my handwriting. I prefer not using it as much as possible, so I thought I could transfer some lettering onto the candle. What a great idea. I started cutting out all the little letters. It was fun. Great time. I'm using my new oversized rainbow scissors for this. No particular reason. I just really like how sharp they are. I wanted the candle to say, "May your days be naughty." Felt Christmassy and evil at the same time. Right up my alley. I tried sticking them onto the candle. I didn't realize they'd be so easy to rub off. I thought they'd have some more permanence to them. I also was surprised by how sticky the letters are. You really have to get it perfectly perfect the first time you lay it down, or else this happens. So scratch that. I'm just settling for stickers. I still wanted it to say May Your Days Be Naughty. The May Your Days Be is a rub-on transfer. It just didn't work at all. I'm done with rub-on transfers. I'm done. I quit. Instead, it's just gonna say, be naughty. Same idea. Gets the point across. I'm not done with it yet. Still have some tweaks to do and things to add, but I also wanted to make a second candle. This one's gonna be a candy cane theme. I love lighting candles, but I don't normally put out scented ones. They just kinda stink up the whole place. I just light them more for the aesthetic. But I couldn't resist picking up some essential oil from the dollar store. I added in a generous amount. Mostly because I don't know how much to add, and the scent is probably pretty weak since it's from the dollar store. Mixed that in, and then poured in the candy cane layers. I wasn't able to do a full candy cane design. I probably should have done thinner layers, but it's the thought that counts. To spruce up these candles a bit, I added some Christmassy arrangements. They were looking a little plain. A little blah. I think these pine cones and stuff added a nice touch. It gives them some personality, just not too much personality. I think the candles turned out pretty festive. A good gift to give to the Goodwill.
Click on the top right or bottom left if you need a spare toilet plunger for when Grandpa comes over. I've got just the thing.